let's face each other
Okay.
like we're normal. Is this too close and too weird?
It's not too weird. You're the guy.
All right, so this is what enters my mind when I'm walking around this because I've known you for 14 years or something. And
Remember the first time we met? I
playing
do.
ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman.
Yep.
And I had this camera bag that I absolutely hated. And it was this big monster thing. And then we just started talking. It was a weird dream. So why you? Why did you get to do this? Because this is the dream. I mean, this is my. I dream of this. I dream of my own little like handmade factory. Like, why did you get to do it?
I think it just started with one machine, and having the idea to be able to like make something in my living room, and it kind of just a passion turned into an obsession.
And how old were you?
I was in college. Yeah, I was like 23 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first got my first sewing machine.
Mm.
And obviously I was going to design school, studying industrial design,
Mm.
like learning how to make stuff and learning how to design and take an idea and problem solve through drawings and renderings and material and 3D printing. We were like 3D printing SLA parts at the time, which was really expensive back then.
What's
And
SLA?
stereolithography. So basically, like anything that you see that's 3D printed, you could 3D print in like with a clear material, which is like the highest resolution at the time. Now 3D printing is everywhere, and it's like still expensive, but it's more affordable. But I was so frustrated with making fake prototypes. You know, like I invented a drum machine, and I made 3D printed the drum machine,
But it
but
didn't
it didn't work.
Right.
And I had
Right.
to make a fake video showing how it worked. And I was like, this is not how I want to create. That's the process how you have to go through. So I bought a sewing machine, and by buying a sewing machine, I had a factory in my living room. I made a bag for myself in a very short period of time, and I was able to use it. I was able to use the thing that I had made, and that opened up the floodgates for anything that I wanted to make, I could make using that one machine. And then if I want to do more stuff, I needed a different machine. And then down the road, now we have a factory full of very expensive, very specific machines that do things that I cannot do by my hand, with my hands. And so why me? Because I became obsessed with doing stuff that I couldn't do myself, you know? And fortunately, I've been able to have a customer base that keeps purchasing our products to fuel this place. And people like you, I'm surrounded by the most creative, genius people
I
who
think
just
that was your
want to
thing.
come and hang. It's rad. People come over to make music, people come over to make art, people come over to make furniture, people come over to just play basketball and create. And it's just like the energy that I have breeds more creative energy. It's like a safe haven here for creativity.
Yeah.
I don't know why me.
So I'm
Yeah.
just thinking because we came in and first of all, you're not stressed out with like time, which I really admire and I want to emulate. And then you have all of this, there's all this creative opportunity that you have. You have a piano, you have a music making computer set up, you have drums, you have all of the stuff to make all of the stuff, but you're not just making bags, you're making basketball hoops and basketballs and drum
Mutes.
mutes. And you play tennis.
Yeah. I make tennis bags.
You make tennis bags. And I just wonder, because when you're a creative person, you can't really help it. It's almost like a disease. And so I'm wondering, so you come into college, what is your intention in college? You don't know? You just know you have to make stuff?
I think from a
Or
very
did you
young,
steer
yeah,
in the wrong direction and then you said, oh, no, let's do the bags? Because you've
yeah,
stuck with, I mean, this
yeah,
is decade 2 you're going into
yeah.
now.
No, totally. Like when I first knew I wanted to go into something creative was when I was much younger, and I was in bands, playing
Okay.
music. I was the one that was like, oh, let's book a show. Let's go play at the Whiskey. Let's go play at the Troubadour. Let's go play at, you know, the Roxy. Someone had to call them. Someone had to not only book the show, someone had to like make the flyer for the show. So I was doing the artwork. Then we made T-shirts to sell at the show, and we had to like book practice. So I had the people come over to my house and make music, and our band would practice. So it kind of started off with like me creating additional things to help support the art. You know, and when I was a kid, I like had my own little skateboard company and made like this thing called the Bind Board, where I took a skateboard and I was like, hey, let's just make it better. So I strapped my feet to the board and like strapped in like a snowboard on a skateboard, and I was able to like do grabs and tricks and jump off stairs in a different way than just like traditionally. And I made those and sold them to my friends.
How
And
much?
they're like $35.
Pretty. That's good for.
But
back
it was like
then.
we were in 7th grade, you know
That's
what I
a
mean? So
lot,
it's kind of
yeah.
like, I think, you know, going backwards, it's like being able to create something that doesn't exist to support my lifestyle. You know, when I got into tennis, I needed a tennis bag that held all my shit in a simple way that didn't look like these lame tennis bags. You know, for me, that's what I needed. So I was able to use my factory to build it and have my team help. How cool is that? You know,
How long should a product last?
I think a product should last, you know, and as long as you need it to last. You know, because I made a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily use anymore. But you know, I think it'd be cool if you bought something and it lasted forever. But I know that's not a reality.
I've heard the Swiss standard is two lifetimes.
2 lifetimes.
Yeah, yeah. One of the annoying things about now, as far as like stuff, is how it's just all. We were just searching for a charger.
Yeah, dude.
It's like it's a charger. It's a 7-volt battery or whatever. Everything runs on that. Why isn't it just universal for the last 25 years? And I think the thing about you make heirloom things. I mean, products is such an insult to even say products. They're just heirloom objects.
Yeah.
And I just wonder what's different. And I hope it survives. I mean,
Yeah.
because when I met you, it was kind of boom time.
Yeah.
It was like it was easy to get, because I was doing my stuff too. It was easy to get funding. There was a lot more money sloshing around in the system.
Yep.
It was easier to get an apartment. It was easier
Yep.
to get a space. There was more credit. Money was cheaper to borrow. And now you have these kids. I have a lot of kids on the Patreon. By kids, I mean high school to college, like finishing college. And they're asking, how do I become a filmmaker? How do I, become an artist, a musician, or whatever? And I heartbreakingly just say, don't do it. Learn a trade.
Yeah.
You know, it's impossible. And like, I'm getting by. I do well. I've set out. I earn as much money as a successful dentist. Like to me, that's my definition. You've made it. But nothing's getting cheaper, and there's no guaranteed sustainability.
Yeah.
Whereas a dentist, you're gonna
Yeah,
reach that
yeah,
level, and
yeah,
people's teeth are always
yeah.
gonna rot.
Totally.
And I'm just wondering where you are in that part, because now we're in
Yeah.
our 40s, right?
Yeah.
And how old are you?
40.
40. Okay,
Yeah.
you just crossed.
Yeah.
Next year I'll be 50.
Oh my God.
And I'm starting to have the
You're a baby.
I'm still looking at the can I keep? It feels like I can't keep doing it. It feels like it's taking too much out of me. I'm getting up at 4 in the morning. 1 p.m. usually.
Yeah.
I have to sleep. I just will
Yeah.
collapse
Yeah.
unless I get
Yeah.
fury and rage.
Yeah.
And they call it mastery rage, where you get yourself and I just can't do that anymore because I have a family.
Yeah,
I have little
totally.
kids in the house.
But you gotta do it for them.
And so I'm like, is this thing ending? And then I read Werner Herzog's book, his memoir, and he's 80, I think, or late, maybe 79, and still doing it, still doing
Yeah.
multiple films a year.
Yep.
And I spent a day with Werner Herzog, and he, it's just pure. There's no rage, there's none of that, and I think he's never been angry or never had. He's like a locomotive. I just
Yeah.
wonder, where are you in that?
Constant invention and reinvention
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly looking at what you've done and assessing its reality and then fine tuning it and making it better. And you can't rest on your laurels. We rested on our laurels for so long. We make one thing really good and it just sells forever. It's like a heritage heirloom product. It's great.
But
It's
you don't stop
finished.
making those, right?
No, we still make them and
keep
still
making
sell them
those.
every day.
As a consumer, I have to say,
Yeah.
don't stop making
Yeah,
the
but
like.
but that's the reason why we're able to be here,
Yeah.
and work in an environment that's so beautiful and work in relaxed ways because the system worked, But now I want to do more, I want to
Okay.
make sure that there's more security with this foundation, and that comes down to a few things: problem solving, really making something that is great, that really makes your experience as a filmmaker better, And I think that's kind of what's cool about this product that we're doing is like, it solves all the things that you needed. You got to make the perfect bag for yourself. If the thing doesn't fit in the bag, it doesn't need to be on the shoot.
That's what I say.
Dude,
Yeah.
how cool is that from
Yeah.
a sensibility perspective of how the restraints that you have on your art making process. Our studio here for making music is only so big. Some studios I go to, they have everything you could think of. And that overload is like a little bit unnecessary, you know what I mean? So
It's kind of a form of procrastination, if you ask me.
kind of,
I think there's some of that too.
some of
which
the best
is
music
fine.
in the
it's
world
okay to
is
procrastinate.
made with a guitar, a piano, and a vocal, or just a piano and a vocal, or just a vocal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like when you get up every day and you work hard at your craft, everything falls into place.
Yeah, you really
You
think
know?
so?
I hope
Because
so.
it doesn't. Because you're calling the whiskey.
Yeah.
You're calling the troubadour or whatever.
But
to
that's
get
getting
your
up
thing.
and going to work.
Oh, I see.
Getting up and
I
working, just
see.
hitting the pavement, just
But
doing
you said
the thing.
craft.
But
You said working on your
well,
craft.
for me, what I'm doing is working on the craft part of it.
Yes.
Working on the
But you have the
concepts and the
machinery
ideas.
that does the phone calls and the paperwork.
Yeah, but we have
and
to
the-
go. We have to go in the back and assess how long does it take to make this product.
Yeah.
Does it take 12 hours? Does it really take 12 hours, 14 hours to make this bag?
Sorry,
Are you
yes.
fucking kidding me? 14 hours?
I know.
What the hell? But
You could fly across the country like 3 times.
it's so detailed and so perfect at the end of that 14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But does it really need to take that long? No.
No.
But that's a part of the process. And we have to go and fine tune our process to make the product.
Kaizen.
Exactly.
That's what Toyota
Yep.
calls it.
Yep.
That just
Yeah.
every little gesture a little bit more efficient.
Yeah,
And
a
then
little
it
bit more
takes 12
efficient.
hours, 10 hours.
And then you have the Kanban system.
Yeah.
The inventory system and the way that you process and assess how a factory runs and how everything, we're like a little art studio. We're like a kitchen. We're like a little, boutique restaurant
Yes.
making these products. We're
Yes.
not a factory that's competing with like large scale stuff. So we have to be efficient in different ways. And it's an art.
Made by hand also means it can be fixed by hand, which is
Yeah, totally.
fucking huge.
Yeah.
There's no computer.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no computer to fix this stuff. There's
Yeah.
no the material is replaced. You can find leather.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
material. It's not some micro transmitter thing.
Yep.
Oh, we
Yep.
can't. That's a magnificent. It's a magnificent thing. So I don't know.
But I agree
Yeah,
with you.
I
Yeah,
just wonder what you're feeling, but you still. Well, you don't. Are you married yet?
No, I'm not married.
Not married.
No,
And no kids.
not married, no kids.
Yeah, I just wonder if that's kind of having an effect on me, I think.
The family.
Is the family and the kids because of, I just don't even want to obsess and hide in the work anymore, which I did do. It was the problem, it was like after drugs and even during drugs and alcohol, it was like the problem solver. It was just
Yeah.
work harder.
Yeah, work
just,
harder.
Just girl
Yeah.
breaks up with you, whatever,
Yeah.
wreck your car, whatever,
Yeah.
just work.
Yeah.
Work,
through
and it will solve the problem.
Yeah.
It will solve the immediate technical problem. But now I've got these little kids and they're so cute. And they're gonna be, and I see 9-year-old kids and they're
Yeah.
not cute anymore.
Yeah.
So I got a few more years of this and I'm just like, any time
Yeah.
I spend with these little cute kids
Yeah.
is not wasted time.
Yeah.
Even if I'm wasting time with them,
Yeah.
and that's what the whole thing for me is kind of for.
Full circle.
Yeah.
But stepping away from the art and focusing on the family makes the art that much stronger when you go back to it,
Well,
right?
see, my numbers are down, man.
Yeah.
My numbers
Yeah.
are a little
Oh,
down.
well,
It's a little scary.
maybe you're
but
looking at the wrong things.
Yeah.
That's not important.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it?
I
Are the
don't know.
numbers
It's
super
important for the. It's just like your numbers.
Yeah.
You know, the numbers is money,
Yeah, not true.
and money is security, and
Yep.
money is time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also money.
Mm-hmm.
There's that great David Mamet line. Of course, you need money. That's why it's called money.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm so. How long have you been in this space?
We've been here 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And then the space before this is the space I met you in.
No, the space
Downtown.
that you met me in was the space 2 spaces ago. We were used to be in Silver Lake, and then when we started, we were in the Arts District.
And you were on Silver Lake, like on Sunset, right?
were on Sunset
I
Boulevard,
remember
yeah,
on the
exactly.
corner.
Yep.
Yes, I remember. And you had a factory in there, a little
Yeah,
one.
we had a little factory and a little showroom, a little
Yeah.
storefront.
Yeah.
We had a store and a factory in the back, basically.
Okay.
And then as soon as we moved into that space, we outgrew it. Like, we had a couple big orders come through, and we couldn't assemble all the boxes and make all the product and put them into the boxes. We had to literally take all the boxes, assemble them, stack them inside of each other, put them up against the wall, like stacked up, and then all the product on the table. And then we had to like figure out, it was just like too small of a space for us to operate. Now this space is a little too big, but it's comfortable. But there is a lot of truth to like, you know, constantly worrying about if what you're doing is the right thing. How do you know?
I think that's good. And
How
I
do you
think
know?
it's a feeling. I think the worry thing is good. I think it's good for you. I think the back against the wall thing is good for you.
Mm-hmm.
What I get nervous about is when the enthusiasm and interest starts to bottom out. How do you nurse that? Because that,
Hmm. Yeah.
for me, that's how it started.
Yeah.
It started with
The fire.
just you don't, it's the opposite. You
Yeah.
don't know why you're doing it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't know what.
Yeah.
You just like, I'm going to get a sewing machine and make
Yeah.
this bag. You could go
Yeah.
buy a bag for
Yeah.
fucking $20.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Yeah,
get
yeah, totally.
And so, I don't know, I'm there. I'm at this weird enthusiasm, and that's scaring the hell out of me. And I think my problem is I don't interact with people enough.
Yeah, but when you interact with people,
It's
the
fuel.
the fire
It's fuel.
just gets bigger. You
Yeah.
know? And one of the things that I do often is bonfire. You know,
What's that?
we get friends together and we have like an outdoor
Oh,
bonfire. Literally a bonfire.
Oh, okay.
We bring guitars and we sit around the bonfire and we all just connect. You know what I mean? And talk and
Where
play
do you do
music. My friend David's studio.
Okay.
David Wiseman. You should come over. It's so fucking
And he
sick.
has, how does, because
Basically,
California, it's hard
like-
to do fires.
No, it's like he built like this like aluminum like piece for a ceiling that was like too big for one of his projects that he did, and then it was just at his foundry and on the property. And we're like, dude, let's turn that into a shell, a vessel for a bonfire, and it became our center point. You know, like back in the day, like in tribes, everyone
Yes,
gathers
this is
around
how
the
why
fire.
we're human beings.
Yeah, that's
That fire.
the human
same,
element.
Same with the videos. Same with this shit. It's fire.
the
It's
same
us
thing.
watching
Yep,
around the fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also around the music too. People get together to make music. It's this fire that's unexplainable connection, unexplainable, you know, like in the now, in the moment. When you make music, when you hit that, when you play the guitar, that's air. That's gone after you play it. So the timeline's going very fast of capturing the moment. You know what I mean? And so I think the more we can do those types of things, playing tennis, engaging, connecting, making music, hanging out by the fire, storytelling, you know, talking about our, you know, turmoils and our successes and our failures. That's what gets us through and gives us the fire to go back and make the art different, better, more innovative. Let me approach it this way. Let me use this camera. Let me use this mic. Let me use this lighting setup. Let's try it upside down. You know what I mean? And, you know, just kind of processing like the potential of output is what gives you the idea to do it differently. You know, even when my friend Josh gave me this Omnichord, I didn't know what the fuck that instrument was, but I didn't, and I also came up playing drums and not playing other instruments. That allowed me to play every instrument because it had all the chords and it had the bottom, it had the low, it had like the music and the melody built into it. I can just press buttons and
And
find
they're
the thing.
labeled. So you know what an
And they're
A
labeled,
sounds
exactly.
like.
So now if I play A on the guitar, A on the piano,
Yeah.
or A on the computer, it all
Yeah.
syncs. You know what I mean? How cool.
Did you have trouble learning when you were in school, or was it just school?
I'm an autodidactic learner, so I
Okay.
learn by doing. So if you gave me a book and said, "Hey, read this and figure it out," it doesn't work for me. That's how I had to learn my sewing machine because I didn't have anyone to teach me. I had to literally read a fucking manual, which was the hardest thing to do. But I wanted to make something so badly, I took the time to like do that. And so for me, like when someone shows me something, I could do it. So if I'm like learning guitar, watching videos on YouTube, I'll take screenshots of every single chord structure that is played, and then I'll emulate that with my fingers to be able to understand the chords. Slowly, learning by doing. That's how I approach education.
Are you an object visualizer?
I
You
don't
know what
even,
that is?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God, I found this out like this year.
Yeah.
Temple Grandin.
Yep.
Do you know who she is?
Of course.
Okay. She made this discovery for herself too. Do you think in pictures? Do you?
I think in yeah. I do
Because
think
there's
in
also
pictures. Yeah.
pattern recognizers is the other kind of visual thinking. There's two different
Yep.
kinds. But I'm an object visualizer,
Yep.
and when I found that out, I thought I thought I had like,
Special
I thought I
powers.
was like retarded.
Oh, the opposite.
Yeah. And then when I found that out, I was like, oh, you mean not everyone thinks like this? And so I don't know, but I guess I don't know. Well,
Yeah, there's
I
so
don't
many
know.
different types of
Let's
learning
do
styles.
lunch. Can I buy you lunch?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go
Okay,
get lunch.
cool.
We're done.
Hey,
I'm done. That's
awesome.
it. 2 hours.
Perfect.
That's my new thing.
Awesome.
Thank you for doing this.
Let's make some
It's so
music.
cool. It's so cool.